Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. I'm your host today, Michael Thomas, the Novice Cinephile, aka Mug Mike. Today we are talking about Netflix's latest animated project, The Cuphead Show. But of course, I'm not here talking about Cuphead alone. I am joined by my two co-hosts of this amazing podcast, the mad punster himself, a pun of tea is his username for today's show. The emblem maniac, Isaac Wolf. Isaac, it's good talking again, man. How you been?
Yeah. Well, I spilled my cup, and all I got was this T-shirt.
Oh yeah, the tea puns are gonna be strong with this one, guys.
Hey, you know what? I'm not so sure about my puns. I
Okay.
double down.
He doubles down. Brandon, there's not much I can do to transition into your intro because I'm just flabbergasted by Isaac's dedication to the pun bit. But we have the Scarlet fan himself here with us. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm that one mug. I'm in every room. I'm in every cup. I'm in every kitchen. Whenever you need it. I'm that one mug.
That one mug who's always there for you, you know?
Yes. Just staring at you in the corner when you least expect it, eyes popping out of its no.
Yeah. It reminds me of when someone offered me a nice cup of green tea. So naturally, I said yes. Much obliged. Ugh, I can't speak right now.
Even your puns are puns within puns.
Yeah, I know.
You know what happens when we ask Isaac to stop the puns?
I'm double down.
He doubles down. So, guys, this is a spoiler conversation of the Cuphead show. If you don't know what Cuphead is, it's a classic run and gun action game. It's depicted in a 1930s cartoon style, very reminiscent of Felix the Cat or even Mickey Mouse or the Looney Tunes from that era. Cuphead and his brother Mugman face off against the devil himself. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever played the Cuphead games.
I have. I own it also.
Awesome. Have you beaten it?
Nope.
Yeah. Cuphead is challenging to say the least. Isaac, I want your opinions on this because I have not played Cuphead. I just want to run it back again. Brandon, have you ever played Cuphead?
No.
Okay. Isaac, how was this as an adaptation to the game Cuphead?
It's well, how should I put it? It's an equal fever dream as the game, even if it doesn't follow the plot as the game say. If that makes any sense.
Gotcha. So in the show, the animated show, the first episode starts with Cuphead and Mugman. They go to basically this carnival, also known as Carn Evil, because puns. Isaac wrote the script for this show. We end up losing Cup's soul to the devil, and the entire through line of the series is them trying to make sure the devil doesn't claim his soul. And in the video games, it's very similar. It's a similar idea, but I'm pretty sure in the game, since it's an action game, you have to go out and collect souls for the devil, right? That's the main hook.
Yeah.
So I think the change is fair, but Brandon, I want your opinion on as someone who hasn't played Cuphead, what did you think of this animated series?
So it's I'm torn.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason for it is my experience with this show was detrimental in the sense that because I know what the source material is, I allow myself to build some type of expectation. Like I'm expecting to see something from it because this is not like I'm watching. It's not like I'm reading a book and then I'm expecting something similar to the book, right?
Yeah.
There's certain things that you expect or would like to see going into the show, especially after such a phenomenal adaptation as Castlevania was. Because Castlevania, nobody can deny that series as a whole captures the essence, the action, the stakes, the mystery, and the lore of the entire Castlevania franchise in every aspect. You know what I mean? It's not just that Dracula was this menacing figure. It's not just that the castle was a character in and of itself. It's like there's no way that you don't watch that show and automatically get teleported to the visions of the game that you know, whether you've played it or not. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like there's so much of that here. So that was very lacking for me in Cuphead because as a gamer, not as a movie buff, not as an anime otaku, but as a gamer, when you hear of Cuphead, the only thing that stands out, especially if you've never played it, but you're in the know, right? Because a lot of people play video games, but not everybody's in the know about video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's people that know games and there's people that know games and know everything going around in the world of games. And anybody that's has their head to the ground knows that Cuphead is considered one of the toughest games of the last 10 years. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because of the type of challenge, because of the the type of player that the type of challenge, the years that it took to make the game. There's a lot of story behind it. So in my mind, I'm thinking maybe we'll get some type of it's gonna be funny, it's gonna be quirky, it's gonna be animated, but it's also gonna have some of the action that the game is about. And there's none of it in the show. You know what I mean? And so the show, which is why I kind of have to turn the leaf on my view of it. And maybe in the future when I revisit it, I'll feel different. But the show wasn't made for the gamer. The show was made for the IP. It was made for the sake of making a Cuphead show because they saw the potential in the type of characters. And it's like we know for a fact that it's made for adults, right? It's not made for little kids. It's made for the adults that know what Looney Tunes are, that know the IP. But I went to the show with a gamer mindset, and it really affected the way I were to enjoy it. That being said, it was fun. It was nice. It's not entertaining enough. And it's not entertaining in what would be a entertaining show for me because you guys hear my rants all the time at Attack on Titan and My Hero, and I look for different things in a show. But for the sake of, it took me a while to disconnect myself to really enjoy what makes this show cool.
Yeah, it's Cuphead is an interesting case because friend of the show on here many times, Leo Rydell. When this show came out, he was talking to me because we were reviewing it at the time, and he was very disappointed because there is no run and gun right in this show whatsoever. The very hook of the game is not here,
Right.
and as somebody who's never played Cuphead, like I know what Cuphead is. I've just never had the time to play it. I I had a different experience from you guys where I kind of sat there and like I got lost in the Looney Tunes bit of it. I had fun with it. It was funny. It was quirky. Um, some of the gags got a little bit old as I got like towards the middle of the show. I think the last episode when they introduced Chalice, that kind of like changed the group dynamic a lot, and I really enjoyed her character. Gray Delisle is fantastic in everything she does, so that's not a surprise. But for what the show is, it being an 11-minute per episode comedy, I think it does everything really well. But yeah, it feels like the characters are there, they're in the show. We're still in Inkwell Isles like we are in the game, but it doesn't necessarily try and capture the exact story or tone of those games. And so I can totally see where you're coming from, Brandon. It was hard for you to kind of disconnect from that and view it for what it is, not what it probably should have been. Um, Isaac, what are your like overall thoughts though on the show?
I think it's so fun. It's like we are in the bizarre world. Here am I, have playing the game, or planning to finish the game when I have the time. Although I will probably have to do it when I am alone, because otherwise I'm probably gonna accidentally throw a controller on someone. But I digress. not only am I the one that played the game of it, but I feel like I'm probably the one that liked the series the most, which is just bizarre because Brandon is usually the one that is positive all around, where I am just eh, which again, bizarre world. I don't. How should I put it? I think. Uh, I think they made the right choice in going the whole Looney Tunes route because there there isn't that much story to tell. Cuphead is go to place, get a soul done. Sure, could you maybe just do that? They had some fight, yes, for reference of the show. Sure, I'm not gonna ask that, but there isn't that much to tell in terms of a story. From you wouldn't be able to have that action beat gunner for a game like that in an adaptation. That wouldn't work unless you would do a sort of like a 5 minutes short or something.
I want to play
So,
devil's advocate for a second here, okay? So
yeah,
you look at something like Super Mario, which has just as much, if not less, story than Cuphead.
Right.
You still want the plot of the Super Mario Brothers movie to be fight Bowser, save the princess, right? So shouldn't at least one episode be dedicated to Cuphead and Mugman hunting down souls to save his very own from the devil?
And you know what's funny? You said something that's very particular and very accurate because instead of me wanting to enjoy the show, I was watching the show looking for that.
Yeah.
Looking like, oh, maybe this is the episode that he shoots something out of his fingers. Maybe this is the episode. Like I got very excited when the King Dice episode came out
Mhm.
because holy crap, he's gonna fight King Dice. Which, by the way, the fact that Wayne Brady does the voice for King Dice
perfect
is
casting.
yes, yes.
I would
So,
argue perfect casting all around, no
oh no,
matter
no,
what
the
you.
voice acting is phenomenal all around, and I like the whole like Italian shyster vibe that all the characters kind of have, specifically um, Mug Mugman and Cubhead, especially the fact that he's called Mugsy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, right. Um, but yeah, like whenever I saw like I said, I've never played it, but like I know that King Dice is one of the main bosses. The carrot is one of the bosses. The frogs are one of the bosses. So like all these characters make their appearances, right? So I kind of expected something. Okay, this is when you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
I would think maybe towards the end something does happen. Maybe, for example, I was so desperate for just a little bit of action that when they went to like the well, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, oh, this is where he gets like the fucking mushroom, right? No, he gets a sweater. I'm like, what the? I'm like, come on. Now, now, and it's funny because once you put the idea in my head that this is based on a game, my mindset changes because I'm think the game is in my mind. Like for example, Isaac, you that played it, right?
Yeah,
Is the pickle a power up?
I can't remember, but I do like your think so.
But you know what I'm saying? Like there's a scene where they're playing the pinball machine.
Uh,
No, not where I come
No,
to.
no, 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 no. I'm explaining the scene. So there's a scene in that episode. That's the one where Mugman gets all dangerous, right?
Yeah, I know. I can't recall the.
So
I'm only on the world two, so
oh no, that's fine. The reason I mention it is because there's a scene while in the beginning of that episode when Cuphead is playing the pinball machine, and Mugman is making pork rind. By the way, pork rind, hilarious. Pork rind go crazy, and you see all these items on the table. You see a bomb. You see the pickle. You see I don't know, something else. So it makes me, so my mind is thinking, oh, these are Easter eggs for all the power ups. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So, but then again, nothing happens.
I totally get that. But that's why I was trying to see what Isaac was thinking, because it's like, yeah, he was saying that there's not a lot of story to go from, but like these are 11-minute episodes. I think we could have made one or two, like a two-parter, right? That could have been the first two episodes. They win, then they have these random adventures,
Right.
or that's
Or
your season finale, and then you have a cliffhanger with it. So I don't know.
Maybe they're
or
doing one or two episodes like that in season 2.
Right, but that's, I mean, season one, I feel like, is when you should have the most
right,
Cuphead story, right? Like
right.
season two is when you actually should get a little wacky and do your own thing. Cuphead, it's like, again, going back to the Mario comparison, Mario has like a million games. You can do whatever you want with that IP. But Cuphead, it's like, if you're gonna call it the Cuphead Show, I get where Brandon's coming from, wanting it to be more like the one Cuphead game.
Yeah.
Right, because from its inception, Cuphead has always been a boss rush game. Like that's the point of it. You know what I mean? That's the way it's been pitched in the 15 years until it came out or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's just the thing. Like for example, and I keep going back to this because nope, I think we're all in agreement that Castlevania is one, if not the definitive video game adaptation, right?
Arcane's close.
No, and see, I was going to use that as an example. Arcane, I would say, stands right with Castlevania. It's just a different IP.
Yeah.
I think I learned a lot from them, but that's just me.
Right.
But
Mhm.
it's like even in the first 4 episodes of season 1, you don't see a lot, but the characters are true to the material that you can do anything with them. The same thing with Arcane. I know it's a MOBA game. You don't really have story in a MOBA game. It's a free to play. People pick whoever they want and go. But they made the world so rich that you forgot that it was based on a game because you made it interesting. So I kind of so in that aspect, now that I think about it, Cuphead kind of did the right thing in the sense that yes, they're trying to make the IP stand out by itself, which I appreciate. But someone like me, that to me is a deterrent.
I guess for me, again, like I really enjoyed the show, so I'm not trying to
Yeah.
sound super negative, but like I, again, having no attachment to the game whatsoever, I dug the throwback, right? Because it, like, we're talking about Looney Tunes, blah blah blah, but
Yes.
what is really reminiscent of for me is the Animaniacs, right? Where we have
Yeah.
these two kids going on crazy adventures,
3.
getting into trouble, and it's legitimately funny. Now, it may not be on the level of Castlevania or Arcane or anything like that, but it's for
Right.
what it's trying to be
Yes.
this short, this basically, yeah, cartoon shorts that are funny, colorful, animation's dynamic, voice acting's great. I feel like it gets the job done,
Yeah.
but as an adaptation, it does fall a little bit short in that regard. But Isaac, I want your opinion on this right quick. We were talking about like how great the voice cast is. How do you think they did reusing or repurposing a lot of those other characters, right? Like I kind of dug what they did with some of them. Others I felt like were just a little bit wasted.
I mean, one of the best character used in my book is the devil. The
Yes.
voice actor for the
Agreed.
devil must have had a blast
Yes.
recording all of the lines because I can't recall the name of the voice actor for the devil. Let me
Luke Millington Drake.
Yeah. He must have had a time of his life recording those lines because
Yeah.
you can hear him shoot the scenery during the recording for every time he speaks, and I have to say I feel sorry for the telephone. That's for certain.
I have a I have a disagreement with you, Isaac.
Okay.
I don't think that the voice actor for the devil was the one to have the most fun. I think it was the voice actor for the Stickler.
Okay.
Because every time the devil was celebrating, the Stickler went like, excuse me. By the way, that's one of the funniest bits of the show. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Like
it's great.
that's
Like-
one of the best ones. Excuse me. How did you collect the soul? That was
and it's
awesome.
just like he's trying
And-
to like stop the count.
Yeah.
It's great. It was a great bit. But no, yeah, like the devil is a fantastic
Yes.
character.
It was great. It was great. It was great. And I like the fact that like I am gonna say that I did enjoy it. Like once I started to put, I think my thing was that I had to put a lot of myself aside
Mhm.
to really try and get into it. So hopefully as the seasons keep coming out, because probably you got to think about it. That's probably what they wanted to do. They wanted to make the IP bigger, because most of the times what happens, you make an IP and then you make like a game, or you expand it in some way, shape, or form. But similar to Super Mario and the Super Mario Brothers show, right? Yes, we know it came from the games, but they wanted it to be more.
We need to cover that one day
That sounds amazing.
in all the wrong way.
Yeah.
No, in all the best ways.
And also, we have to remember. Excuse me, princess.
We're not doing Zelda.
No.
But-
Yeah, we have. I've already promised that months ago. So
Jeez.
I'm glad you made promises. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Now it's
hey,
welcome to the majority. No.
Right. This is a democracy, damn it.
yeah,
But yeah, and guys, I don't want to sound like everybody over there probably hating me because I hate the show. I don't hate the show. I think I just went into it with the wrong expectations. But like Mike said, like the proof of concept of what they're wanting to do is perfect, and I think they achieved it. It just wasn't what I wanted out of the Cuphead show. Now, maybe season 2 will win me over. I do like the sense of mystery, the fact that the big reveal kind of towards the end that Miss Chalice is kind of dead. So that was kind of like okay.
Yeah, I wanted to get into that right quick. That's why, Brandon, I wanted to make sure you watched that final episode, because that's when the status quo kind of changes. I'm going to toss it over to Isaac, and then we can circle back to you for a second. Isaac, Miss Chalice is a new character who has not yet appeared in the games. Am I correct? She gets her DLC coming up.
She is a DLC character.
Well, is the DLC out already or no?
I don't know, but they ironically revealed the DLC release date about, I do believe, a week before the release of the series in that Nintendo Direct they had.
I'm pretty sure they said in like May or June or whatever that the Miss Chalice DLC.
It's coming out June this year.
Yeah. So, how is this as like an introduction to that character? Because this is the first time she's been in anything, really.
Right. Well, apart from the trailers.
True.
Yeah, it shall be interesting to see how that one works out, if they make some is Magman Cuphead dead all the entire time.
Oh my
Or
gosh,
stuff.
that'd be an incredible twist.
But how is the Uncle Kettle revived them because it felt lonely?
That's
Wait a
dark, man. That is
Wait a
dark.
minute. Cuphead came out 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy. Wow. I've been living under a rock.
I mean, that's why they went with that aesthetic, right? They wanted it to be that classic gaming feel, and then this animated series wanted to kind of echo that by being like a show from that era, which is again also probably why it's not as action packed as you probably expect. Because cartoons during that time period weren't really like that. So
I mean, they were action packed for wrong reasons.
and villains and stuff, right?
Politically incorrect reasons.
We don't. Yeah, we're not going there. But Brandon, what were your thoughts on like the last episode, introducing that new character dynamic, introducing Miss Chalice, and like does that setup work for you going into a season 2?
I mean, I kind of like the only thing I liked. Oh, correct. That sounds so horrible, right? Um, the only thing that stood out to me that I liked, that I think about, is the whole thing with the ghost chalice, but also the whole thing that we're actually. Well, and here's the thing, and I think this is just me being an idiot for story. Um, the fact that the episode ends outside of the house, it ends with them in jail.
Yeah.
It finally feels we're moving somewhere, because the whole thing about these kind of shows, or these kind of mini episodes and stuff like that, right, is that when it comes to Looney Tunes, it's all pretty stationary. Everything happens in the same neighborhood, everything happens with the same characters, everything happens with the same dynamic of surroundings, right? So the idea that they're now in jail and there's a to be continued, it means, okay, do we finally have a direction that we're going? Are we going into a story driven angle? Because even though, yes, especially with the whole thing with the devil, even though that through the episodes there is a certain sense of progression, because of the way they're constructed, you really don't feel that progression. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's
Like
very
you
stagnant.
exactly, and because it feels like one shots, just like the Looney Tunes are. They're one shots, and that there's you got one episode, and we have one gag per episode, and this episode is all about the gag. You know what I mean?
I
And
think
it's
that's why it doesn't really work. Like the through line narrative of the devil wanting to collect Cup's soul doesn't work for me. Like again, the gags were funny, but the thing that kind of irked me was that very thing. Right, the difference with the Looney Tunes is that they were taking those characters, those fantastic characters, and dropping them into different situations.
right.
We're making it a western. We're making it a space odyssey with Duck Dodgers. We're going to go back to where Bugs is dealing with Elmer Fudd, and the next episode we're focusing on Porky Pig and his ghost cat with Sylvester.
Right.
And
But
so it's kind
Bugs
of
was always
resetting
Bugs.
everything, right? Yeah. So what's happening there is that we're taking the characters, dropping them in different scenarios, whereas here it just feels like Cuphead and Mugman are going on different adventures, and we're not progressing the plot at all.
Exactly. Like we establish a sense of plot in the beginning.
Yeah.
We go on a bunch of event. You got to think about it. The only episode you have, episode 1, where you have the first encounter with the devil. Then you have episode, what is it, 5?
With
The episode with
King
King
Dice?
Dice.
Yeah, I think so. 5.
And then 7 and 8 is the direct confrontation with the sweater. No, 8 and 9 is a direct confrontation with the whole sweater thing. And then you have the last 2 episodes that have nothing to do with the devil. So it's like, that's why it's like, again, that's what my mind was kind of looking for. But again, it doesn't mean the show is bad. Just like Isaac enjoyed it because of course he loves slapstick and puns. Um, you have fun for other reasons, and I can see the appeal. I can see why it was enjoyable. I just I think if I had not known that this was based on a game, I probably would have enjoyed it more. Or maybe I would have been more forgiving, in the sense of being more open to them to explore more things. Because I kind of feel that, oh, you're gonna announce a Cuphead show. Okay, then you want me to watch it because I know who Cuphead is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Isaac, did you have any other thoughts regarding the Cuphead show? Exclamation point.
All I can say is that wonder if he went to the coffee shop, because he certainly sounds like he drank a sad cup of depresso.
Oh boy.
That was a tough pill to swallow.
That was like, Isaac,
Oh my
that
God.
joke took so much setup. I'm just impressed you stuck the landing there.
No. Here's the problem, though. Did he stick the landing?
I'd say so. I mean, we got the point, Depresso, but I kind of lost the thread for a second because the setup was
Yeah.
so long, kind of like Cuphead, right? Jokes.
Yeah.
Very, very, very jokes.
Brandon, did you have anything else you wanted to discuss with the Cuphead show before we call this one an episode?
So, give me 1 second.
While he is taking that second, I will just mention another thing. Drinking a stranger's cup of tea is really not my cup of tea.
Okay. So the puns have to stop here. I can't handle it anymore. I mean, I feel like if Isaac keeps going, I'm just gonna start mean mugging him the entire show.
So I'm gonna say something. Wow, that is everything's horrible. So apparently, check this out. I just found this out of nowhere. I was just looking into season 2 of Cuphead.
Yes.
So apparently, there's no such thing. Apparently, what's going on is what happened to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 Stone Ocean, which is so Netflix. So they've made like almost 30 episodes of Cuphead, 36 episodes of Cuphead. It's just that Netflix is doing a staggered release. So it's not that we're getting a season 2, it's the fact that the rest of the season is going to be released later.
So they essentially did Lucifer season 6. So what it was
Yes.
when they did.
Yes.
It's Attack on Titan all over again.
Yes.
So I'm looking at Netflix Geeked, their official Twitter account for all things geek, and they say Cuphead show is officially renewed for season 2, and it's coming this summer. So that was a load of bull, I guess, and they were lying to us.
Yeah, look, check it out. So, TV writer, blah blah blah. I'm reading this from Looper. I want to make sure. I mean, let me see. Blah, 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 blah.
Great movie, by the way, Looper.
Oh, what an amazing movie, Shatter After. That is
Never
a
seen
very
it.
that is a plug if there ever was one. Damn it, I found it just here. No fans. Okay, so
Also,
so Netflix of the news of the Cuphead Show being renewed for season 2 was met with a major correction, as Twitter user Crimson_Mayhem_ pointed out that the announced second season was not actually the second season, but the second half of the first season. And it's wow.
That makes sense because think about it. This show came out in winter, and it's going to come out. Another season's going to come out in summer.
Yeah.
Unless they were already working on a season 2 before they announced it, that makes no sense.
yeah.
Like how long animation takes.
100%. 100%.
That also so that could be another pacing issue. Like I'm going to talk about this. This is kind of unrelated. So you guys know the show DuckTales on Disney XD, which is now on Disney Plus. The DuckTales
like the remake?
Yeah, the remake.
Okay.
So the first season was really weird because they aired the episodes out of order.
What?
And so yeah, the first season aired the episodes out of order. And so there was like a 4-episode stretch where Huey was not in the show. And it's like, what the heck happened to Huey? And every episode in that stretch focused on Webby. And it ruined the pacing. And it's like, this show is about the 3 boys. How come 2 of them are only here for the last month of episodes? And that's because Disney aired them out of order. I wonder if, like, again, the Cuphead episodes, I'm not going to say they like put them out of order, but think about it, like you were saying, episode 1, episode 5, episode 7 and 8 or whatever. It's like, I wonder if some of those filler-esque episodes were kind of slotted in while they worked on more of the narrative stuff. I could be wrong there, but I have seen this happen fairly recently.
Very possible. Now, the other thing is, here's the other thing. When was the DLC announced?
I believe last year.
Right before a week before this one premiered.
Or do you mean the release date? Yeah, that's
it was very close to the premiere of the show, right?
It wasn't during that Nintendo Direct that they revealed everything from
That was like
Xenoblade
in
Chronicles.
November or something, right? I think so. That was like
No. The release, the Direct I'm talking about was the one that they had this year when they released everything from Fire Emblem 3 Hopes to Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and all those, and Mario Strikers for
right, but
Wii.
the PlayStation YouTube channel says Game Awards, the delicious last course
Yeah.
announcement. So that was December during the Game
Yeah,
Awards,
but
which
I'm
was
talking
like a
about
month
the
or two
release
before
date.
the. Right, but we're
talking
talking
about
about the
the-
announcement of Miss Chalice, not the release date of Miss Chalice.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the announcement for the DLC was like a week before, like a month and a half before the show came out.
Yeah.
But the DLC is going to come out around the same season
Mhm.
that the second half is going to come out.
Which is going to probably focus heavily on Miss Chalice anyway, because of the way that this season ended.
Yes.
Yeah. Branding, everybody. It can damage things sometimes.
Yes. And branding rhymes with Brandon. And I'm the reason. Okay, I don't do puns. Okay, so how about we wrap this up?
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here at the
Roll the
Amateur
dice. Oh, I'm sorry.
as we talk the Cuphead show. It has been a blast as always talking with you fine gentlemen, even if we disagree sometimes on the quality of these animated shows that we cover.
Yes.
But, you know, whether you loved Cuphead, hated Cuphead or not, it's just a blast having 2D animation in Western media, which is something that rarely happens nowadays, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that I'm excited for, but thankfully the folks over in the East are helping us out with all the anime we cover here at the Amateur Otaku Podcast. Brandon, I want to toss this over to you. What can folks expect from the Amateur Otaku?
You can expect a lot of otaku-ness. No. So every week we cover My Hero Academia manga, My Hero Academia Vigilantes. We also have been covering Doron manga. This week we have, well, we're doing Cuphead. I have no idea what else we're doing. We're doing a lot of things.
We are doing My Ordinary Life also soon.
Very, very soon. But here's the biggest thing. We have updated the podcast channel. We're getting new releases. We've set up a lot of the stuff that we've done for the main YouTube channel and the podcast channel. So it's going to be premiering. We have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3. We have Arcane League of Legends. A lot of our great big long reviews that we've done are coming to the podcast channel. So stay tuned. It is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever podcasts are found. And I don't know, a lot more stuff.
Very, very exciting. Where can they find you on Twitter while you're giving us the whole spiel here?
At the Scarlet Fan 52 on Twitter, at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Instagram, and at the Scarlet Fan 52 on TikTok. Even though I have no idea what the hell I'm doing there.
Emblemaniac. What's up, man? Where can people find you everywhere?
First of all, I have to say that Starbucks is kind of threatening, because while I was at Starbucks, I said that I didn't want to slip a cup lip. Then they gave my drink to me, and they say this is the last straw. So
you can find Isaac at Emblemaniac on Twitter and his writing at LeBamEntertainment.com. And he's going to be here every other day, pretty much, at the Amateur Otaku Podcast. You can find me at Novice Cinephile everywhere. That's it. We have a movie podcast called The Chatter After that you guys can check out as well. Lots of great content going up there every other week. Isaac, have you calmed down with the puns and you can actually give your own outro for once?
Well, you can find me over at Emblemaniac, and you can find my work over at Wobum Entertainment.
Yep, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So
awesome. Well, that wraps this episode up, you guys. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube. And if you're listening in the podcast feed, check out the YouTube channel. There's a lot of content there that's not in the podcast feed. I know Brandon said he's putting a lot of it up there, but like we're doing My Hero Academia team-up missions. You don't want to miss that when it goes up live right on the YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that one. And with that, we will see you guys later. Have it awesome. Cheers.